Architectural education in New Zealand and in most of the West is usually delivered by professional academics, and for that reason it has a tendency to become a little abstracted from the realities of architectural practice. At Unitec, most of our students want to be practicing architects and not academics, and so we are very interested in giving them the kind of experience that will fit them to become good practicing architects. So we were very excited when very well-known architects like Dave Strawn and Marshall Cook, celebrity builders like John Cox, and other people who are active in the industry wanted to become involved with our students in doing a project that was very close to what actually happens in architectural reality.
This is the third year we've been running this design document build program, and around about February this year we started with a real site and a bunch of real clients, a youngish couple with 2 daughters, and they had a site down in Onimana, which is the Coromandel, and we started by researching the site with 16 students. They were in their 3rd year of School of Architecture, so they're relatively junior still in their training because it's a 5-year degree. So off we went down to Onimana, sorted the site out, did some great site analysis, and then we came back and did a kind of a team competition between 4 teams of 4 for designing the actual batch itself.
The time when we were actually putting together our proposals and how we'd present them was really tight. We were all working under really big pressure, long hours, lots happening in a very short period of time, and you know it was exciting because it was really the first time in our course that we actually had to be putting a real idea to real people, and it very exciting like that. We all, as groups, worked really hard up until the time when we had to actually present our work to the clients, and when we turned up to the client's house to actually put your ideas forward, you really wanted to get them to sort of understand your idea well. So there was a lot of sense of ownership of what you were trying to put forward.
Angular form in the section here.
That would just be so interesting.
All going straight through, so converting.
Which is a lot more fun.
People started doing that we stalled on.
Unitec have a byline, which is a real-world experience. So a lot of what we're talking about here is how can they learn to design, look at sites, do all these real things. In this case, they design, they document and build, so they do 3 things. It's like a seriously real-world thing. In this case, we're lucky enough to have a real site, a real set of clients with a budget, and they have to deliver something very specific to that.
Basically how it all came about was a friend of ours, Coxie, who's the overseeing builder. We've been talking to him for a couple of years now about the possibility of us building a batch down there in the next couple of years, and he sort of rang us up and said this opportunity has come up, and we were just super stoked. Now, everything that we sort of asked them to put into the design they've done. It's now just kind of
Working out what's
going to suit better for us. You know, they're all epic designs, but yeah,
they've done an amazing job.
It's kind of made our decision pretty hard, really.
Yeah.
After the pitch, we met again, and the clients told us which design they liked the most and the reasons why they liked it. Then we all had to work together as a group, sort of coming up with one idea rather than 4 different ideas, and they liked things out of all the designs, so the final thing is a mixture of everyone's ideas.
The documentation phase takes about 6 to 8 weeks. We probably stretched over a period of time. They come and go. They're in our office at all hours of day and night, depending on their other scheduled program. And at the end of that phase, we have to obviously go through and check the drawings, red pen them, tweak them, make them complete before we can put them into council.
Our role as the floor team is to basically design the whole floor system, including the joists and bearers and the set out of them and which direction they're going to go, and that's going to influence the pile set out as well. So it's factoring all those things to try and get the most efficient design.
That's whereabouts. Our job as wall team is to essentially make decisions about the walls in terms of thickness, surface, texture, colour, and also apertures in the wall. In order to make the building read as a cohesive building, we need to closely talk to the other team's roof team, floor team and internal joinery team. And we also need to be in close contact with the people who are going to be supplying us with the materials and building the things which we're designing. So we need to have a really good idea about how all of these components that we're organising for the walls go together.
It's been quite an informative process in a way that we've never done this before. What we're basically doing is going around to different companies that are essentially offering the same sort of materials for our roofing objectives and just comparing costs, getting quotes and just getting samples and then actually playing with it in real life and seeing how materials connect and the actual dimensions and the qualities of the product or the material. It's been quite informative as well, just in terms of never having done this before.
One of the difficult things students find in the documentation phase is they actually have to find out far more than just saying, oh, I'm going to make it out of plywood or I'm going to put a screw in here. Because we need to know exactly what plywood, what thickness, what sheets is it available in, what finish, all those sorts of things. Screws, for example, you just can't go to the store and say, I want some screws. You end up having to say, yeah, it's a certain gauge, it's a certain thickness, certain head type, certain type of material, all that kind of thing. So they tend to learn a lot of quite in-depth detail about some of the specifics of construction, which if you want to become an architect, you have to describe to people how you want it to be.
So over the last couple months, the floor teams, we've just had to design 3 different levels of the floor. For building, we had to raise the floor up so the truck could get under it, and so we can transport it to the site. We've got all the joists and the ply on top. We've got everything done. We just need to put the decking over the top and lay the carpet. This is the final design the clients have chosen to go with. So it's kind of 2 distinct kind of elements. We've got the simple white box, which is kind of following the form of the land slightly, just on a slight slope, about a 4-degree slope down the site. And then there's this slatted eucalyptus box, which is like becomes the pergola in the deck, which runs right through the building. And the aim of that is to create like a breezeway which goes through the building and kind of get this indoor-outdoor feel that the clients were kind of after. The doors are handmade here by us out of Canadian yellow cedar. So they're kind of one of the main aspects of the batch. And then, we've also got these corner doors which are made in a similar fashion, and that opens up a large cantilevered corner of the lounge space at the front. At the rear of the house, there's a neighbour pretty close by. So we've just basically formed this roof down over, and that becomes a sort of rejecting back.
With building, there's that sense of you have to sense things with your fingers. We talk about things being flush or in line, or what is that? Is that sharp? Does it need softening, whatever it is? So, plus obviously working with tools, machinery, you get a sense of what's going on. So what we're trying to do, I guess, is get the students to have a respect for what builders do in their everyday life, but also getting a sense of the feel of timber and materials and whatever they're working with. So it's just a wonderful way, I think, of describing this idea of literally getting your hands dirty.